All right, welcome to lesson 2 of how to make music, how to play guitar, how to just overall music philosophy and teachings and whatnot. From my perspective, I already did the one, which was the basics. I'm trying to cut this up and try not to repeat myself. It's hard when you're chopping it up and whatnot. I said that I had 6 steps. Now I have a 7th step, so this is constantly growing and evolving and moving, but we'll move on to the next part. And the next part is when learning an instrument, the hardest part is the muscle memory, which I think I might have touched on, but basically it's just getting your hands used to the motion. It's difficult in the beginning, especially if you're not used to using your hands in this way, and especially with the guitar, because you have to get your fingers used to pressing down on these strings. Now there are various different degrees of thickness in strings. This is an acoustic guitar. This is a little harder to learn on because the strings are a little thicker and they're harsher. So if you're learning on an electric guitar, the strings are thinner, so it'll just be a little bit easier on your fingers. Sometimes the thinness can be, a little bit more piercing into the skin, but overall you have to get your fingers used to it. All the guitars will get your fingers used to it in the same way. Over time, your fingertips have to develop calluses, and once they do, the pain goes away and everything is super easy. A lot of the pain is felt by pressing in on the chords, because usually you have to stretch your fingers out almost like acrobatically so with your fingers, and that's a little like uncomfortable to get your hand used to morphing in these shapes, but also at the same time pressing down on the strings. You'll feel the pain is slight, you'll feel the discomfort, but over time it will go away. It does go away. One of the hardest parts is moving chords. So basically if you're in a G and you're moving to another chord like a D, you might have to pause in the beginning to get your bearings, to form the D after the G. So basically, if you're going into a G shape, which is completely different than an open D shape, you're gonna have to go like, you're gonna be like, and you're gonna have that pause. You're gonna just shape it. And then once you get it, it's going to be maybe a little muffled at first, but then just press the fingers in and you'll hear it. Don't be discouraged by the pause. Eventually that's going to go away as well. But just, practice and do what you will. Don't be discouraged that you can't go completely fast each time to all the different chord shapes. You will eventually be able to effortlessly move as quick as possible, depending on what the song demands of you. A lot of this has to do with tempo. So in the beginning, a lot of people will tell you to work on cover songs. A lot of people like you might want to do cover songs. The whole reason you're doing this, or you want to make music, is because you want to play the songs of your favorite artists, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But what I would recommend, and this is what I did, is in the beginning you want to make your own songs. This will help you learn the chords a lot quicker, a lot easier. You form a relationship with the chords. You'll quickly be able to find your favorite chords. You could do that the cover route, but there's something about making it your own that it's just a more meaningful, just full experience, and I think it's just a better way to do it. So basically you're going to want to because remember in the last part I said get a chord book, learn the chords. So once you learn the chords and you're practicing the chords, and like, oh, let me see what a D chord sounds like. And remember I said also in the beginning, try to stay within the first 4 frets. Open chords are your friends. There's nothing wrong with it. They're not ugly. They're not anything. Later on, then experiment with all the other different chords, and that's fine. Widen your knowledge if that's what you want. But it's all the same, right? The G down here is the same as any G you'd find anywhere else. There's nothing bad, there's nothing ugly or cheap or easy or any of that about. It's easy, that's kind of the point, It all exists here, so, you rarely will need to jump anywhere else. But I use a lot of bar chords a lot of the time, so I am jumping you know, up and down, because you can find a lot of different chords by using the entire neck, but don't worry about that, especially in the beginning. So you're going to make your own songs and try to make a song using chords that are next to each other, so that jumping, that pause, when you're jumping chords, that pause isn't as extreme, ergo you won't be as discouraged. So try to do a song with, like, this is just one example. A G, learn how to do a G. It's a very good chord. There's only 3, use the 3 fingers, right? You go here, you'll look in the chord book. I'm not trying to show you how to do a G chord, but there's a G, right? And a good chord to jump to after a G is a C, because you just have to move these 2 fingers up 1 or down 1, however you want to say, and then put this index finger here. Again, the chord book or an app, if you want to do that. You don't need a book. App is fine. Google it, whatever you want to do. So, and try to make your first song be a slower tempo song. This also will shrink the gap in between when you're jumping chords. Won't be as noticeable. So. Even slower than that. This is all about creativity. So you're going to make the song as you want to make the song. The strum pattern, just do what you want to do with that. You know, we'll talk about this hand later on. This is where a lot of the magic happens. It's all rhythm based, right? So you can make a song with 1 chord if you want to, as long as you're keeping it interesting here, and you're strumming as if you're playing a percussive instrument. This is where the magic happens. Don't worry too much about this. But for instance, like again, I'm jumping forward. I'm probably going to be repeating myself later on, but this is just an example where I'm talking about. It's like if you want to do a G chord, just 1. See all the magic I'm doing here? And then see, if you're in a G, feel free to lift some fingers up, put a finger down, you know, you could play with the index finger, press on something if it feels nice, if it sounds good, you know, experiment. Here's the G, right? Just 1 G. I'm just lifting up the 1 finger. That's technically a new chord, by the way. Makes the sound. But then when you do the G, it doesn't make the sound, doesn't make the sound, la 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 la, doesn't make the sound, doesn't make the sound. Then you press the index, doesn't make the sound, no. Back to the G, back to the G. Your main problem in the beginning is going to be this hand with the hurting and all that. You maybe get to yourself to a place where you don't have to switch chords. I mean, you want to, because you want to practice, you want to feel comfortable, you want to be able to do anything you want. But in the beginning, make songs. Make a song. G to C or G, just lift up a couple fingers. Write it down so you remember what you did. Record it into your phone so you remember how to play it next time you want to play it. And write lyrics. Again, I don't want to jump forward, but writing lyrics, very important. Another way to personalize the experience. Don't worry, again, I said this before, don't worry about playing good, playing bad, singing good, singing bad. Just be yourself. That's the most important thing, okay? Don't try to be like anybody else. They already exist, and they most likely copied from someone else. Try your best to minimally copy and just be authentic. And don't worry, don't have it in your head of what you want to sound like, what you have to sound like, what everybody else sounds like. Just use what was given to you. it's unique, it's special, and that's what you need to do. That's the mindset that you need to be when you're making music, when you're starting out especially. You need to develop yourself as an artist. You need to find your style, your sound, who you are. These are the most important things. It's not wrong to do covers. It's not bad to do I've done it even, to do an impersonation. You know, it's a way to appreciate the things you love, you know? It's like a costume of sorts, and it's fun, you know? But even when you do that, try to put a new spin on it. Try to be unique in some way. Try to bring a bit of yourself to it, okay? If you want to do covers, try to pick a few songs that you love, write them down, and then try to pick all of the songs that you love, pick the ones that maybe have a little simpler chords, fewer chords, something that you can handle in the beginning, you know, at your skill level. Use you know, when I went to lessons, full disclosure, for like a week. And then I didn't like that the guy was teaching me super slow. I didn't feel like I was moving at the pace I wanted to. So that's when I, instead of playing the Beatles and Nirvana songs that he was giving me and said that all of his students love these, and it was great. What I did was, instead, I went to the guitar shop. I got some songbooks of songs that I was interested in, and then I just immediately started making songs, because the whole reason I got a guitar was because I was hearing these melodies in my head. I was humming, I was playing things, and I didn't have anything to play with. I had this really cheap Casio keyboard, but and then I lost that. I didn't even have that at a time because I was constantly moving around. That's another story. But so then I went to the music store to get a piano. The pianos were too expensive, so I could only get this. Not this one, but it was a way cheaper guitar. And the guy convinced me and said, like, oh, this is the you know, the hot instrument, everybody wants it. So I got it, and it became my instrument, my main instrument, because it was the one that I spent the most time with, and it was the only one I had for so long. Now I love playing keyboards and you know, experimented with other things, but I started, basically I quit the lessons, and I started teaching the rest myself, and everything else that I learned, little techniques, little tips and tricks and secrets, I gathered from people that I met over the years. There was this man who taught me about bar chords. My teacher didn't teach me, because he was probably waiting until, I don't know, months later to tell me about that. I don't know, you know, because they make money per lesson, so they're trying to stretch out the amount of money that they could get from you. That's why I love YouTube as this platform. It's completely free, and I'm trying to preach this message of just learning at your own pace, in your own way, becoming your own artist. Just giving you what I can, what I've learned, a bit of my experience to help you find your experience, you know. So yeah, make your own songs, and in the beginning, keep them simple. The first song I ever did when I made a song was a C and G. In the beginning, just keep it simple, you know, and write lyrics, sing on top of it. Your voice is another instrument playing on top of this instrument. It makes it fuller, makes it more interesting. And remember, I think I said this before, the chords don't matter. You can't even legally copyright the chords, chord progressions. You only the melody you can copyright. The melody is what you're singing, or what you're playing over the strumming, like another guitar playing a melody part, or piano playing a melody part. So this is just a foundation, just to be able to, so that you can sing over it. So I made my own songs, and the first song I ever did was like a C and G, and there was a little gap, a little space between switching the chords, but I made it so that it was a slow enough tempo that it didn't matter. And then I wrote a song for those two chords, and I sang over it, and that encouraged me to continue. And then I made another song and another song. And you know what? I was like, oh, I like the sound of this D minor, or I like the sound of this E minor chord. So let me see what'll pair good with that, and listen, play around with the other chords. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do it E minor. Let me see, E minor, C. Okay, that sounds all right, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. Let me see, E minor, and then how about D? Okay, Okay. And how about E minor? And then A minor. Okay, I like that. They're both kind of sad chords. I like that. A minor. E minor. E minor. And then maybe a D again. D, A minor, E minor. So I don't know, again, I don't want to jump around too much since we're talking about E minor. These chords, I notice, go well together, and there's reasons for that. So if you're talking about the language that we as humans came up with to try to explain something as cosmic and beautiful as music, and with our small, feeble brains, as much as we could, we tried our best to grasp it, and we came up with music theory. And so there was a calculation to why certain notes and chords go well together, but it's all about what sounds good and what doesn't. So it's important to try not to follow the rules when you're doing something as mystical as music. You're going with instinct and intuition and feeling and sound, and you're just like, oh, that sounds good, that feels good, so then do it. Don't not do it because a teacher told you not to do it, or a book of music theory told you not to do it. This is all a language that was created for us to communicate as musicians with one another. It's not meant as a way to learn how to do music. It's it's to learn how to read music, how to explain music, and how to communicate music. But if you're by yourself, especially, you don't need that. You need the basics. You need to know what the notes are called and what the chords are called, only so that you can find them later and you can write them down so that you can remember where you were and what you're playing. That it's an amazing tool for that. But anyway, E minor, A minor, and D, or E major, A major, and D. You see how it's all on the second chord. And you can do different formations like right? And then you have another ones that go good together, and these kind of you could say they all exist on the 3rd fret, but they're a little bit on the first 3 frets. G, C, and D. Oh, there's a lot of songs that use these chords. And then sometimes I'll go to F. One second. The beautiful G, or the beautiful C, the beautiful C chord, right? So play with this pinky here. See this? And lift up the index finger. C. You can even put it on the last string. It feels good. If you feel comfortable, once you don't have that gap anymore, right? That gap that's like D, gotta go to G. Once you don't have that, and you don't need it, and you go, no gap. Now it's time to bring the gap back. That's what a lot of the times I'll do. I'll take that space before you go to another chord. Sometimes you'll go. See, that would normally be the gap, right? But you filled it in with. Then you go to G. Or a thing I'll do a lot, which is like. Makes it interesting, keeps it funky. Oh, see, oh, hey. And all that was just on the low 6th string. Boom. And then you hit that G. Boom. Slow it down. Slow it down. Slow it down. Right? So, so that's step 3, man. I think this one's gonna be just step 3 because we're already getting along here. Let me see if there's anything else I forgot. It's better if there's songs you love, the cover songs, that is, if you're gonna do covers. This will help keep your attention, and you're less likely to lose interest in trying to learn music, because that's the goal, isn't it? We're trying to keep our focus and not want to quit or allow ourselves to get discouraged or get bored. So, you know what? If you're making songs and it's not interesting, you know, maybe you don't want to do that, or just like then just go to covers. That's fine. That's fine. But definitely use my advice in picking easier covers with more basic chords. Trust me, there's a lot of them, especially in pop music. Pop music doesn't use a lot of complicated chords, so go there. Or some old school rock, yeah. Beatles, Nirvana, whatever you're into, it's classic. Punk, punk music, man, right? It's that classic 3-chord, what they say about the 3 chords. Just learn the chords and play. Just play and have fun, and good luck. And this is, I'm gonna do other videos. This is just video 2, and I hope that you, I wish you the best and good luck on your journey, and until next time, goodbye.